Hello and welcome back to Flight Sim 2024 New Zealand trip. This is leg 2. I'm going to go ahead and set up our Cirrus. We've fully refueled between the last leg and this one. So we're going to go ahead and set our fuel to full. Oops, I also wanted to change the livery. Which means I have to reset the fuel. There we go. Our departure today is November Zulu Alpha Alpha, Auckland International. And we're headed to November Zulu Hotel November, Hamilton. Alright, so in practice, all of this is the international parking, international terminal, etc. This area here is all domestic. This area here is all cargo, and this area over here would be where the FBO and private ramps and stuff are. Like, I think this is DHL's ramp, and then this is the private ramp. However, we have no starting points here, and I don't think we can do custom on the ground. Because, yeah, it says we're starting airborne. And I don't want to do that. So I guess we'll start. Yeah, these are. They're marked as GA. But these are all actual hard stands. These are airliner stands. But we'll depart from there. It'll be fine. I'm actually curious. Looks like some clouds have moved in since we last departed. They're reporting overcast clouds at 1,700 feet and marginal VFR weather. So I'm going to prepare for the need to do an IFR flight here. So let's go ahead and plan IFR. None of these departures are going where I'm interested in going out of Auckland. They're all over the water. So that's going north. Yeah, see, I don't... We could get away with the Lakes departure here. The level 1 Lakes departure. Well, let's put in our arrival. Yeah, so they don't have a visual approach into Hamilton. No weather is currently available for Hamilton, but it's probably going to be overcast as well. Let's see. Can't turn on weather, which is annoying. But, I mean, Hamilton's not that far away. It's going to be IFR there, or marginal VFR at best. Let's do find route. Let's see what it comes up with. Nothing. Yeah, lever 1P Lakes transition is what we're looking at. That's a departure out, and then we'll have to do a visual approach to runway 25. So, alright, well, looks like it's going to be an IFR departure here. Or, it's technically marginal VFR, so we could theoretically stay out of the clouds. But we'll check it out. You know what? We're gonna assume a VFR that we're gonna be able to stay out of the clouds. Hi, I'm Lasombra, a gamer and content creator with my head in the clouds. Years ago, I took flight lessons. While I wasn't able to complete them due to money and medical reasons, that doesn't stop my love for aviation, and I choose to bring that love to you here in these videos. I'm Lasombra, and these are my flight sim adventures. Yeah, definitely some clouds moved in since our last leg when we flew in here. So I'm not going to complete the full walk around because A, this is the same plane we flew in, and B, Flight Sim doesn't simulate aircraft condition currently. So we're loaded into the plane. And we'll go ahead and get our battery and alternator switches on. Max out my instrument lighting. Alright, MFD is loading. That's fine. We'll go right into checklists. The pre-flight inspection is complete. Weight and balance is verified. Emergency equipment is on board. Passenger briefing. That's you guys. Welcome aboard. And creepy co-pilot here. Welcome aboard this flight from Auckland, New Zealand to Hamilton, New Zealand. That is going to be a little bit of a poor weather flight. So we'll be staying out of the clouds here as much as we can. If you enjoy this flight, please follow, or if you're catching me on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you don't like this flight, well, it's his fault. Anyways, please ensure your seatbelts are fastened through the entire flight. Exits are on your right and left. And if there's a fire, get out quick. Passenger briefing complete. Seatbelts and harnesses are adjusted and secure. And before start check is complete. Alright, starting check. We're not connecting external power. Brakes are held. Battery master switch is on. Strobe lights are coming on. Got a bat 1 caution, that's fine, that's expected. Mixture is full rich. Power level is full forward. Boost pump is on. Prop area is clear. Power level is open 1/4 inch. Ignition switch. One more time. Clear prop. And start. Avionics switch is on. Alright. We're going to lean for max RPM, which looks like just passed it. There we go. Add just a hint of power. Oil pressure is green. Oil temperature is coming up. Alternator is on. Avionics is on. Engine parameters are green. Extra power was disconnected. Alright, before taxiing checklist. But I want to make sure my flight plan's loaded. And grab 1020 pressure. Alright, altimeter set. I'm gonna set altitude to 2,000 feet. I hope I'll be able to get there. 2,500. I hope I'll be able to get up to that. We might be scud running this. We'll find out. Otherwise, flight plan is loaded. Set to GPS. Transponder is set to halt. Alright, back into the checklists. Flaps are up, radios are set, cabin heat defrost is required, fuel selector, switch tank. That is done. We're not feeding from the right tank. Next checklist. Parking brake is disengaged. Brakes check as we start taxiing. Brake checks. HSI orientation. As we turn here, HSI is turning with us. Excellent. Attitude gyro is stable, and turn coordinator indicates outside on turns. Alright. Or up before takeoff checks, which we'll do at the runway threshold. Or at the hold short. So, based on weather, we're still going to be going off at 2-3. You know, where that 747 is going off right now. Boy, this thing moves at idle thrust. I have it on good authority from actual Cirrus pilots that, in fact, yes, the SR-22 really moves at idle thrust. It's just, it's got that much extra horsepower, combined with the fact that it is a constant speed prop without a dedicated prop control. So it's a constant speed prop, but it's all managed by the FADEC. Is it FADEC? I guess it's not FADEC in the 22. But it's managed by the aircraft's computer. So the constant speed prop is able to take the most efficient slice at any power setting. And that means that we're getting a good slice here. Alright. Got a nice solid windsock. It looks like we're a little gusty here, so it's going to be a little bit rough on the departure. I have a feeling this is going to be a very bumpy leg, which I'm kind of looking forward to be honest. Alright, large airports like this that have a lot of commercial traffic tend to have these run-up areas that they want you to stay in. That lets at least some of the commercial traffic pass by while you do your run-up. So we're going to go over here and do our run-up. So the doors are latched. Cap's handle has been removed. Seatbelts and shoulder harnesses are secure. Air conditioning is off. Fuel quantity has been confirmed. Fuel selector is on the fullest tank. Fuel pump is on boost. Mixture full rich. Flaps set 50% in check. Transponder has been set. Autopilot is off. Navigation radio and GPSs are set. Cabin heat defrost is off. Brakes are held. Power level 1700 RPM. 1695 is close enough. Altimeter so far looking good. I'm going to go ahead and get all our lights and pitot heat on. And our alternator is producing power. Nav lights are staying on. Landing light is staying on. Magnetos. Check left. Got about a 30 RPM drop there. Back to both. And check right. And get about a 30, 40-ish RPM drop. And back to both. And then back to 1000 RPM. Flight instruments are checked and set. Flight controls. I got right up, right down. Left up, left down. Nose up, nose down. Alright. Flight controls are free and correct. Trim set for takeoff. Working on that. Moving very slowly, because it does. Because I've got it set to move slowly after the electric trim. And autopilot is disconnected, and we're not doing any of that. And checklist complete. our engine tight for the departure here. And there's nobody else looking for the runway, so go ahead. Approach end is clear. Departure end is clear. Looking for runway 23 left. I do in fact see 23 left. And full power. And final ended up not being clear. Somebody went around. Oops. Alright. Flaps are coming up. I'm gonna brake early since I'm not actually IFR. I can do this as long as tower's not too pissed. Because I don't want to get too far out over the water here. I am high enough that I could use caps at this point. I'm gonna get the power out. We're at 2,500 feet and we're just barely out of the clouds. But we'll see if that can hold for any length of time. Yep, and now we're starting to get into the clouds, so... we're gonna descend. We're gonna try to stay out of the clouds. It's gonna be an interesting trip, that's for sure. Scud running it all the way to Hamilton. That just gets us close to the train. It's a Seymour. Does mean it'll be a little bit more bumpy. Alright, I think we can level off around here. Do 1800. And we'll go to 65% power since we're staying so low. Turn for lean of feet. So as it stands right now, I could turn the autopilot on, and it would keep me basically in these boxes. The boxes describe what the expected route is that it's been programmed for. Altitude or approach, and so on. But honestly, this is such a short hop, and I'm kind of dealing with the weather. I'm going to stick to flying it manual here. It's definitely an adventure flying in the kind of shaky terrain here. I'm maintaining 1,800 feet, which is a weird altitude. It's definitely an adventure. Let's go ahead and get through our cruise checks just to be sure. Oxygen is not required. Cruise altitude is established. Power level is in a safe realm. Fuel pump, I'm going to switch to left tank. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000. Boost pump is off. Mixture has been leaned. Engine parameters are in the green. Fuel flow is being monitored. And we're on to the next checklist. Not expecting any known icing conditions. We're going to load up the descent checks and head back to the main screen. I personally prefer track up. It gives me a quick navigation glance versus heading up. So in heading up, the airplane is always pointed towards the top of the screen, but your track may not be. In track up, with the direction you're currently traveling is always pointed at the top of the screen. I gotta get some trim in here as I wrestle this thing back up to 1,800 feet, because we're really struggling here to maintain that 1,800 feet. I think we were in a thermal for a while when I first trimmed it out. And so I trimmed out for in a thermal. which would do that. And we're not far from Hamilton as it stands. Which is, Hamilton's at 164 feet altitude, so that's basically non-existent. We're going to do an overflight to ensure that we know what the winds are. And then we'll pick a runway, either 25 or 36s, probably 36s. So those are the preferred runways. Although it's interesting, based on my current en route winds, it's suggesting I prefer runway 25 or runway 7 because they're this. Yeah, it's just broken there. But I will say, based on en route winds, I think I'm going to be preferring runway 25. We're not too far off the ground, so this is going to be pretty close to what ground level winds are. So I think go for runway 25. That's going to be my plan unless I see something different in the windsock. And I don't see any critical terrain obstacles en route. I'm pretty sure that city out in front of me there is Hamilton. And I'm only 30 miles out, so that would be about right. Beautiful scenery. I just wish the weather was a little better so I could spend more time enjoying the scenery and less time managing the clouds and the aircraft. I'm going to stay on the right tank here for a little bit. Wait, which tank am I on? No, I'm on the left tank. Alright, I'm switching back to the right tank. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. And boost pump's back off. You always use the boost pump when changing tanks just to be sure. I'm going to feed from the right tank here until we get closer. Come on. Nope, I don't need you descending that fast. Huntley Power Station. Oh, that's not Hamilton. That's a power plant. Good to know. And that makes sense looking at my map, because Hamilton's on the other side of this ridge. Man, keeping this thing on point is proving interesting. I've not touched the power, but the aircraft is wanting to be all over the sky here. Airspeed tape's moving like crazy. Wind barb is shifting. And that's what happens at these low altitudes with high winds, is you hit all sorts of variance as you pass through different obstacles. And it's crazy. And so despite trim, it's kind of a constant battle, because you never know what the right airspeed is. Trim will maintain a specific airspeed, but maybe that airspeed is causing a runaway climb right now. And then 2 minutes later, that same airspeed will be a massive descent. So you'll trim, but trim only goes so far. Now we're hitting some of the bumps from these hills here. Kind of crazy, but it works, right? That's what's so cool about this, is that it does work. You can fly, you can control an aircraft if you know what you're doing, which I like to think I do. You can control it pretty well through some of these kind of conditions as you get kind of jostled around. And I've experienced these kind of conditions in the real world. My long solo cross country, when I was going for my PPL, which I did not finish due to financial issues, but I did pursue a PPL, and on my solo cross country for that, I experienced basically exactly what's going on right now. Huge swings in airspeed and thermals and everything, and I was just bouncing around the sky. Actually, a little bit more than I'm bouncing now. That hit, plus 200, plus 300 feet in like a second. Just poof, we're up, and then poof, we're down, and then hit another one, boom, boom, and it's just, you're hitting thermals, and you ride them up and you ride them right back down, because every thermal has a downdraft section. And when you're cutting through thermals like you do in a fixed wing aircraft, in a powered aircraft, they're short-lived, right? It's a bump, it's a drop. When you're in a glider and you try to stay in the thermals, you'll spend a lot more time in the up than in the down, and that's the goal, is right, you stay in the up, you circle in the up until you're as high as you're comfortable going, due to whatever constraints of the day are, whether it's wind, cloud layer, oxygen, depending, right? Maybe you don't have oxygen on board, so you're You're getting up to that 12,000 altitude. Time to back it off. Whatever the reason is, you break out. And as you break out, you slow down and drop. In a fixed airplane, in a powered aircraft where you're just going through the thermals, you spend about as much time in the up as in the down. Alright, it's time to start slowing this puppy down. So we're going to back off the power and trim to maintain altitude. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into my checklist here. Oxygen is not required. Altimeter is set. Cabin heat defrost is not required. Landing light is on. Fuel system. Boost pump is coming on, and we're switching to the fullest tank for the approach. Power lever is required. Mixture as required. Brake pressure is checked. And we'll go ahead and do the before landing checks here. Seat belts and shoulder harnesses are secure. Boost pumps on boost. Mixture's coming up to full rich. And flaps are required. Autopilot as required. And we're good there. Alright. As I said, I think I'm going to be planning runway 25. So I'm going to set my heading bug on 250. There we go. As that's what I'm expecting to come into. As we're still slowing down. I actually do want to be at 1,600 feet now as I prepare to overfly the field. So, based on what I know of the winds, and what I've got an in-flight indication of winds here, 2.5 is basically a sure thing, but I won't know that for sure until I actually overfly the airfield. I think that might be the airfield out there. No, that's too close. No, that is an airfield. That's a runway. So that's Hamilton there. Okay, I don't know why it said there was a 2.5. I don't see a 2.5. I see a wind suck that says 218, but it's pretty much a direct cross, which is lovely, but it's what you gotta do. I'm not sure why Flight Sim gave me a 2.5 option. That's bad data. Really all I can say about that is bad data. Alright, I'm gonna keep coming out with power. Let's slow down. My goal is to start to descend here. And then do a tight 180 to come in on the 45 to downwind. Approaching pattern altitude. We're a little bit, I'm going to do more of a 90 to downwind here, just because I want to tighten this up a little bit. I'm trying to slow it down. Try not to lose altitude here. Now we're going to start our turn to join downwind. Definitely feel the wind buffeting me today. Initial power out and start the descent. Don't see anybody in the pattern. And I'm going to go ahead and turn base. Watch now for that tower out there. That's going to be a problem for me if I let it. Roll out on base, I look for final. No traffic on final. Runway in sight. And bring in first notch of flaps. And I'll go ahead and start my turn to final. And continuing to trim. Coming in, rolling out on final, I'll bring in full flaps. Wind is crazy today. This crosswind is nuts. This is not going to be a great landing, but hey, put it down safely on the paint. Yeah, I've got like full cross controls here. But we're down. We're on the center line. Honestly, center line was within the mains. And with that kind of crosswind, that's as good as you can hope for. Oh, there's a grass strip here, it looks like. Interesting. Alright, well. I'm gonna taxi off here. And get into our after landing checklists. Alright. Fuel pump is off. Mixture leaning for maximum RPM. Flaps up. Transponder. Is on standby. Lights. I no longer need my landing light. Pitot heat is off. Ice protection is off. Pump is off. Ice inspection light is off. Alright, after landing check is complete, we'll go ahead and taxi into parking over there. That was honestly, I'm very happy with that landing, considering the weather, that really strong crosswind. I put it down. Yeah, there was a bump, but that sometimes that just happens if you got too much back pressure in at the end there. And I was more focused on lateral control than the precision of the back pressure. So yeah, I got a little bit of a bump. Not a huge bump, just a little bounce and then a touch in. And considering that crosswind, I think I have to say that that was an acceptable landing. I was pointed down the runway. Center line was between the mains. That's really all you can ask for in a strong crosswind like this one. Okay, so I see where it's got confused about 257. It thinks that there's a 25 runway out here. And there's very much not. So this airport could use some updates. But that's alright. Hey, we landed. It was a safe landing. It was a good approach. Honestly, that was a really good pattern given the weather. I'm going to stay off the center line here because there's aircraft too close to it. I'm just going to look for a place I can park. Let's see. You'll do. And no, that won't work. A couple of caravans on floats out here. And we can park here and figure out exact position in a little bit. Alright. Fuel pump is off. Throttle is idle. Ignition switch. Checked. Engine did stutter. Mixture to cut off. And then all switches off. Magneto's off. welcome to Hamilton. With a military plane on the ramp. And a fuel truck driving through a guy. Hey, you know, whatever works. Thank you all for flying with me. I hope you enjoyed this flight as much as I did. This was definitely an adventure. A little bit of scud running here in New Zealand. Good, you know, nice scenery. And like I said, I'm happy with that landing. I know it did have a bump or a bounce, but sometimes when you got those crosswinds in there, all you can do is just get it down as smoothly as you can. And the more important part is that crosswind control. You get that, you know, ailerons into the wind, rudder, to keep you going straight. And you'll notice it looked like I was flat and level and pointed straight down the runway. And if you weren't looking at the windsock, you'd think there was not a lot of wind. And that is, it looked good. I'm very happy with that. Not a lot of side load as I touched down. And the center line was between the mains. I don't really have anything else to say about it. If you enjoyed this flight, please follow if you're catching me on Twitch, or if you're catching me later on YouTube. Like and subscribe. And until next time, fly safe.